9, Synergy Speaker Series. We have a great guest today, someone who looks familiar to all of you. Mohammed Sadrawi, our very own math teacher, is here today to talk to you about elevator speech. So what's an elevator speech? In a moment, you guys have said you want to hear from Edgardo a little bit more. And guess what? He's going to actually open up, talk a little about elevator speech. And then we're going to have Mr. Sadrawi actually give an example of an elevator speech. And I'll tell you why we chose him momentarily. So,
all right. So the reason that they call it an elevator speech is because this situation in an elevator speech is you're pretending that you are stuck in an elevator or you're in an elevator with a potential employer, right? So you want to have a paragraph or two, just like a very you want to give them a quick snapshot as to who you are, you know, some of your skills or some of the skills that you have, and also you want to talk about how you could be a good fit for the company, okay? You want to give them the best idea or the best picture of who you really are, all right? So then that way, when they leave the elevator, right, you would have left a lasting impression with them. All right, so this is something that we are going to be doing next week in AB, right? So as you get some of the information from Mohammed, start thinking about some of the things that you may want to address next week when we start working on elevator speeches.
Second year as a math teacher here, I can tell you when we hired Mohammed 2 summers ago, I met with him a couple times. We got into the final interview with the superintendent, HR director, so Mr. Quinnell and Mr. Wedgie. He had the best final interview I have seen, and what he did, he crushed an elevator speech. What he basically did was made all of us leave that room saying, not only do we want to hire this guy, we need to hire him. He was so passionate about how he wanted to not work just in any math classroom. He had some experience working in Windsor in an alternative ed setting, and he basically looked all of us in the eye and said, you know what, I don't want to just teach, I want to teach an alternative ed because I know that that's the place where I'm going to make the biggest difference. And he walked out of there, and Mr. Wedgie and Mr. Quinnell were like, okay, hurry, get in the paperwork to get this guy on board. And so we thought he would be a fabulous person to show you, give you a snapshot of what we saw. So you see a different side to a math teacher that you know, because I always remind you, Mr. Sadrawi and Mr. Hanley had the best growth anywhere else in the district. I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Sadrawi.
Okay, good afternoon. I lost my voice today because we are doing a problem, and we talk a lot. I talk a lot to ask questions to get them to get the information they need to solve the problem. So we go back to elevator speech. What is elevator speech? Like Abby said, elevator speech is a short snapshot. You have one shot on something. You have to be specific. You have to be to the point, and you have to convince that person why he should hire you. Why? So you have to be short. First of all, you have to talk about yourself quickly, about who you are, what you're doing, what you're best at, and what you have to offer. Those are 3 things. And you focus on what the other side want to hear, what they want to see, what they want to hear. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to come with solution, somebody to help them in doing their job at their best. So that's the first thing to do is you focus on what you're looking for, so you have something to offer them. So after you define your job target, you want a job, but how are you going to go about getting that job? First of all, you have to get as much information as you can on that job so you can be prepared. When you have an interview, you will have an intelligent conversation with the interviewer because he's sitting in front of you, maybe 2, 3, or 4 of them, and they are trying to build a picture on you, who you are. Where can you fit? How can you do your job? Can you be able to do it or not? So you try to convince them to vote for you. Because once you leave, they're going to sit in the corner and say, wow, I like what he said. I like this, and I like this point, and I know how he mentioned this, and he did this. So you start filling those puzzles for them. So they will build a nice picture on you. By the time you leave them, sometime even before you leave, they will say, we will with this. You are talking, and they are making conversation about you with their eyes. Yeah, we want it. Before you leave, they will sign your contract. So, is your research. You have to research. Go to the website. Look for the information. Read the mission. What is the mission? Get some keyword from their mission, from the job description. A lot of words used in job description, you can borrow that and use it in your speech. So you will know exactly use powerful words that they are using in their description and in their mission to talk, to communicate you all, to sell yourself basically. Basically, you are selling yourself. So you're not gonna just come and say, I want the job. But what you offer me, I want the job, everybody wants the job, but what you wanna do for me? Because you gotta understand what is the higher point of it. The people who are hiring, they want people who are successful. They will not gonna create a problem in the future. Because it takes time. Take time, take money to hire someone. It's not just gonna come and grab anybody. Because you wanna look for successful people who you don't have to rehire again to fill their position. Because you wanna have a good team on your side. So the information is gonna help with the website, the job description, and the mission. Okay, after you get all this information, what do you have to do? Write it down. Write all this. So when you write it down, what are you gonna do? Write down, be focused. Focus on what they want, what they need from their description. What do they need? What they're looking for. So basically your message should be to them. It's about you, but for them to sell yourself. You're describing yourself, what quality you have, what you've been doing. And you could always twist certain things that make it close to what they're looking for, even though you're doing something that is a little bit far away from their type of job they are offering. But you're always gonna find something that you can relate it to that and describe yourself. You're not gonna say I'm nice. No, you're gonna say I get along with everyone. In my job last time, everybody talking positive and saying good things about me when I left. You see, these things are. Then, so then the time for practice. You have to sit and talk to yourself. Sometimes in the bathroom, sometimes in the shower. Who cares? You're talking. You're practicing. Record yourself. You're gonna record yourself. Listen to it. See how it sounds. Do it sound good or not? If not, then ask somebody else to give you feedback. Have them listen to it. Give you feedback. And those are for revision. You're gonna revise as you go and improve your speech. What are you gonna say? Yeah. So you want to make it perfect. So then what to bring to the interview? You have to bring whatever you have. A portfolio, recommendation letters from others. Recommendation letters are very powerful. When you have somebody speaking on your behalf, is more powerful than you speaking on yourself. Because somebody else was maybe neutral, or he worked with you in the past, or whatever, supervise you, and he writes something for you. Let's make it very important. It's way more on the interviewer side. So those are reference letters, recommendation letters, and your resume. Resume, maybe you already have it or something, or when you fill up an application, you already have some information about you. So then we can talk about employment in general. I give you advice, no matter where you go, man, you're gonna find something you're not gonna like about that job. But do it to your best. You like it, stay there. If you don't, look for another job, and while you're doing work, don't say I'm gonna book off, I'm not gonna show up, and you start building a bad reputation about yourself. And when you leave, the next employer, they will call the old employer and say, hey, how is this guy was doing in your job? And if you say something negative about you, you're done. You're done. If they say good things about you, you will get a chance to get the interview. So, anywhere you guys go, no matter what type of job, you like it or not, always that's natural. You go there, you will find people who don't like you for some reason. You will find people who just want to push your buttons. Don't get trapped into that. You focus on your job. I'm here to do my job, and I'm here to be successful. And if I like it, stay there. If I not, don't, keep the job and look for another one. And the best time to look for a job when you have one. You have one already. You have some incomes. Then you are flexible. You're not under pressure. You're not under stress to look for another one. Look for another one. Once you find it, give them 1 week notice or something. Leave it clean. You never know. You may be happy with the next job. You're happy about the next job. I'm gonna get the next job, but maybe you're not gonna like it. And you decide to come back when you wanna come back or something. You never know. So you will have that open still. That door is still open for you to come back. But when you leave on a bad term, you're done. You can't have no chance for coming back or working or something there. So what is the speech? Elevator speech. Elevator speech, it depends on the job. For my situation, I give you my situation, and I was in for an interview. They asked me, why you want to come and teach here? And I just specifically describe exactly what I'm gonna do and what I was doing. So I was working in an alternative setting, but I am just moving from one building to another, but I want to have a broad, because I'm working like a part-time, but when I move to here, I'm looking for full-time. I was gonna have more influence, more, I will change people's life more. So I would touch people's life on multiple levels. So I focused on who I am. I said specifically who I am. Then I mentioned what degrees I have, what experience I have quickly. Then I stop talking about what's important, what I'm gonna bring to them, what I'm gonna bring to the school. And I'm working with the school. I mentioned a few things. That's why I would say about the words are, every word has a weight and has a meaning that make your speech powerful. And I said I wasn't working at the most challenging student. That's a powerful word. If you have a challenging student, you can get them to get their work, I mean, that's what we want. Most challenging student, most emotional student. For little things, they can just push everything and say, I don't want to do this. And you keep working with them until you get them back on track, those things. Students who are having issue at home, maybe they are single mom, maybe you are single father, and they have somebody to babysit, and you have to be flexible with them. I mentioned all that, flexible with the kids. I mean, hey, as long as you do the work, no matter what you bring it to me, I will take it. So those things are very important to mention for my situation. Then the other point is when I talk about I mentioned other things related to my job, where I work with other people who are most challenged, because I was work as a tutor at Manchester Community College. And who comes see me, the challenger student, the most challenging student, most a struggling student. They are struggling. I mean, I mentioned this word struggling. The student who struggle, I know how to help them, meet them at their level, and work from there to raise their confidence that they can do it. And I can mention, now I could mention one thing more, which is a lot of students, the other teachers, they write them off. They say, this guy is not going to learn in this class. Let's take him somewhere else. I'm not that type of person. I would say I'll work with you. I meet you at your level and help you to grow. I don't care how much you're going to grow. As long as you're moving along, that's good. But not doing anything, that's not helping nobody. And when you're doing your work, you make everything look good. You are happy getting the grade you want. Your family are happy you are passing and graduating on time. The administrator are happy, are producing results. The teacher are happy, you're not going to be distracted. You're going to focus on doing the work. So when you come to school, you have to do your best. You have to do your best. That's what we expect from you. And when we tell you something, do this, it's for your benefit and the benefit for the whole community. When you are an educated person, you are most likely going to get a good job. When you get a good job, you have a nice living. You have a beautiful house. You have a good living. You're not going to depend on somebody else to pay for your bills. So you feel good about yourself. Everybody will try to gravitate toward you because you are successful. But if you are a low bar, nobody will associate with you. And another advice, and I turn at this elevator speech to advice, because you guys, you need to hear this. Because this is the same thing I would say to my kids, my own kids. This is the conversation I would have with them sitting on the table. Same conversation. You can give it to anyone. So, to be successful, you have to do your best. Don't keep blaming others. Blaming society, blaming my parents, blaming that. You are at the age that you are stepping up to your own world after 18 years old. So you're not going to blame nobody. So from now, focus on what you can do. Always point to yourself. What can I do? Not what others can do for me. What can I do? Let's work from there. Start step by step, baby steps. Focus on objective, short-term objective. My objective coming to school is to graduate. Wake up in the morning and say, hey, where I'm going to school? This is the question. To earn some credit. Get my high school diploma first. Some students still thinking high school diploma is worthless. But believe me, it's still worthless. Because some jobs, you like it, you want to get a job, but they have in their application high school diploma. If you don't check that, you are eliminated, done. They're not going to give you the chance to come and interview. If somebody cannot even have a high school diploma, what are you going to hire them for? What are you going to do for them? Unless if you are a low-paying job that paying minimum wage, everybody can do it. Everybody can go and flip hamburgers can work at a security company and sit there and watch something like this, but nobody can teach. If you can teach, if you can be a doctor, if you can be a lawyer, if you can be a... So you have to work. You have to do the work. And I like the sign Greg put on the wall. It's helping a lot of students to see that. They walk and they say, hey, if you're not here to work, you're done. You're not gonna graduate. So, which is good. So if you have any questions, please. It's an interaction. You have a question, we may ask you a question, just answer that. And my goal from this speech is, if any one of you pick on something that makes sense to them and apply it in their lives, that's a big success for me. Really. If any one of you just focus on one thing I said and apply it, and that makes sense to you, and try to apply it in your life, you will be good. It's gonna lead to another steps that you make, another good decision you may make in the future of your life.
So Mohammed talked about a lot of things there. And one thing that I want to, he won't brag for it. He won't share this with you on his own, but I will. One of the things I learned in doing the reference check, at MCC, there was a time he was working for free. So the tutor, the MCC employee who was in charge of hiring people was so impressed with Mohammed, didn't have a paying job at the time. Mohammed still said, okay, I still want to come help tutor college students. Did such a great job. They figured out a way to turn that into a paying position. And so that's something we're going to be talking a lot about in AB second half of the year, and sooner in some cases, looking at some internships, getting students in the community within some of our partnerships with local businesses, and try to get you some experience. And so that may be an unpaid position, but it may open up the opportunity for you to get paid down the line. So that's something very valuable that I hope you picked up on. What are some other things that Mr. Sadrawi said that really made sense to you? What's one thing that stood out that you think on next Friday, when our team watches the rest of our building, what do you think they're going to notice?
You got to get the diploma, man.
Anthony,
That's one.
got to get the diploma. And it seems silly because, you know, day 179, you're not a high school graduate. And then day 180, you actually graduate. Do you really know that much more because you hold that piece of paper? Did you learn that much more on that last day of school? What do you think? No. But the difference between the person who has that piece of paper and who doesn't could be the difference between getting considered for a job and not getting considered for a job. And you know, having that diploma, it's a gatekeeping thing. If you don't have it, you're not going to have as many opportunities. And doesn't mean you won't be successful, but if you can work your way up and have more opportunities to be successful, you might as well. What's one thing you learned about Mr. Sadrawi that you didn't know?
His last name is Sadrawi.
You know him as Mohammed. Fair enough.
Mr. S, right?
Fair enough. Mr. S, yes. Anything else? How about did you ever think about that? Some of your teachers, the adults who are in this building, actually choose to be here? Or do you think, they just couldn't get another job?
I feel like they needed just to be here for the money.
Is to be here for the money.
Muhammad here for us.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
No, you're not.
I'm laughing.
And George, I 100% agree with you. He is here because he wants to be here. Tomorrow, he can have a job anywhere. And I know that. Because all he has to do is, here was my last year STARS course in the fall, here's where they are in the spring. People would look at that and hire him. He's not going to do that. He likes it here. And I'm going to stop praising him because we don't want to lose. He chose to be here. And you have to want to be here. Because you know what? We only have 120 students, but every single one of you is in a different place. Every single one of you is a different story. And we try on a daily basis to make it a happy ending for each of you because we want you to be a high school graduate. But more importantly, we want you ready for the job that you're going to apply for, right upon graduating, for the college that you're going to start. And you can do it. And it doesn't matter where you get your high school diploma from. When you start college, it's a fresh start. You can go to the best high school in the country, and you can go to the worst. It doesn't matter which one. When you start college, it's a clean slate. And nobody knows anything about you except, hey, you've been accepted, you're there. Your professors see you, and are you doing the work? Great. Are you doing well? You're getting a good grade. If not, you kind of just are swimming along, and eventually you're going to figure out you're wasting your money. But no one's going to chase you down like we do in high school.
That's true.
Other questions or thoughts? Any other comments? So what does it mean to research about a job? Do you think I was impressed when I was interviewing Muhammad and he knew what our mission was? He knew specific things about our school. What do you think that told me right off the bat?
His homework.
He wanted to be there.
100% right, Joe. He wanted to be here. And I knew that 3 minutes into the first interview. I knew I wanted to hire him. And here, I got to go through all these hoops. So I have to, he has to meet with his, our department, our math department head. He has to meet with HR. And I'm thinking every step of the way, let's hurry this up because someone else is going to try to snag this guy. But he was committed from that first interview, and he followed up, and he wanted to be here. And every single day, I see him greeting you guys at the door, shaking your hand, welcoming you. Sometimes I see students who are not really respectful. Doesn't faze Muhammad.
I wouldn't hold the grudge against no one.
Lie.
Just shrug it off and move on.
And I've seen him have a tough conversation with a student. Like, I care about you. I could just give you easy work. I want you to do better. And I know this is the work that you're going to need to know how to do in those entry-level college classes because I help teach them. And so it's very powerful that you have someone who's good at what they do, confident, and really wants to be here. And as you give your elevator speech, if you can do those things, communicate confidence, communicate that you really want to be there, communicate that you have skills, you can dazzle in that initial first impression. Other thoughts? You excited for these elevator speeches next week, Ed?
Absolutely.
So maybe what we'll do, we'll have a little side synergy series where we can maybe take some of the best elevator speeches. Maybe we make a video, post those, so as we have prospective employees coming in and working with us, how fabulous would it be for them to kind of have a snapshot and get to see what you guys have to offer. So think on this weekend. Think about what skills you have. Think about if you only had an elevator ride, how would you sell yourself to a potential employer? How would you communicate to them that they don't need to talk to anyone else? You're the best person for the job. If you can learn how to do that, our job is accomplished, so to speak, in terms of what we're doing in AB. So, quick round of applause for Mr. Stroud.